So we go on here, and our next speaker is Stephan Gutzeit. He's a executive director at Stiftung Neues Bauhaus. It is a new foundation devoted to support deep innovation. Stephan holds many different positions, executive boards of different companies. He also is a member of investment committee, a charity biomedical fund, which is a venture capital fund focusing on investment in medical devices, and also he has been consulting many companies as well, working in many global consulting companies. He has started up a school, actually first German liberal art college, and he has been doing his education mostly in the United States, graduated Stanford and Harvard University. And Stephan has a very interesting presentation for us. It is actually an anecdote, a funny story for us. Let's warm Stephan on the stage.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here today. Actually, I brought 3 stories about 3 people that are complementary because I believe we are learning through stories. And I want to be a little disruptive here today, no slides but stories. And I want to be talking about people. You'll be hearing much about technology, but it's all about people. If you want to have deep innovation, you have to invest in people and you have to help people grow and develop, realize their ideas and change the world in the process. My first anecdote is a lunch I had in Berlin last spring with a former colleague, met at McKinsey at some point, had lost sight of him, didn't quite knew what he was doing now, and we ordered our milkshakes, and I explained what I do, deep innovation in medicine, and I complained a little about the cloning shops in Berlin, where young entrepreneurs copy American ideas, grow them in Europe, and sell them back to whatever, eBay or Google or whatever. And when I had complained for a while, my former colleague took a big gulp out of his milkshake and gave me a slightly pained smile and said, "Stephan, I'm running one of those," meaning a cloning factories. And then we had a spirited discussion about different kinds of entrepreneurship and innovation. And he argued his case. He said, all right, my companies, they are not very creative. Innovation is rather shallow. I admit that. But I think we are creating a supply of serial entrepreneurs that can then migrate into more complex kind of startups and do real innovation. And I argued back that these are different kinds of entrepreneurship and innovation. Take a few concepts like rapid iteration, right? If you have a child who needs a new heart valve, a rapid iteration is exactly what you don't want. In fact, we are moving from inorganic to organic heart valves because as children grow, you want the heart valve to grow with them. And if you develop a new cancer drug, a minimum viable product doesn't really make a lot of sense. And crowdsourcing works very well for shallow innovation. But if you are talking about deep innovation, the successful companies are much closer to Apple, say, who work on something for a long time and then come out when it's perfect. So I think there are different styles here. There's the entrepreneur and there's the innovator. The entrepreneur does one thing today, the other tomorrow. It's very quick, but rather shallow. And there's the innovator who has done research for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years sometimes, and then realizes the idea that can be world-beating. Completely different personalities, cultures, innovation systems. Second anecdote. I was in San Francisco before Christmas at Silicon Valley Bank for board meeting, and I met a young entrepreneur just before that who had requested a meeting. A Berkeley graduate in her late 20s had a wonderful idea for a real unsolved medical need in women's health. Fantastic idea. But she could not get funding in Silicon Valley, in San Francisco, for a medical device company. What do I want to say? That brought home to me that there is an innovation crisis even in Silicon Valley. Not in e-commerce, not in ICT, but in medical devices and biotech. You have a hard time getting funding even for very good ideas. Why? Herd mentality among venture firms and a certain cyclicality of the entire business. Now, I love Silicon Valley. I went to Stanford. I'm sure it will come back. But right now, there's a severe crisis in healthcare innovation, even in Silicon Valley. What does that mean for you? That means no one has ready-made answers. Big pharma isn't working. The venture capital model is broken in healthcare. So we need to experiment with new ideas and models. And it's much easier to experiment with new ideas if you don't have entrenched ideas. You are the new kid on the block. You have a healthy and thriving e-commerce entrepreneurial ecosystem. If you want to move into healthcare, you can do so afresh. You have no entrenched interests. There are no big pharma companies here. So I want to encourage you to experiment, not be intimidated by others, because in healthcare innovation, it's all up for grabs now. No one has the perfect innovation system. You have a fair shot at developing something that will be interesting beyond Estonia and beyond your region. Third anecdote. One of the companies I've been working with, actually, I worked with the people who started the company even before there was a company. One hepatologist at the Charité Medical School, and the other a physicist at Free University in Berlin. They teamed up together and developed a test for liver functionality that can tell the surgeon within 15 minutes in the operation theater whether he should keep cutting or not. Great idea. There was no gold standard. These guys have developed a gold standard after 5 more years of research. They are not agile. They are slow and meticulous and develop their idea. They are innovators, not entrepreneurs. If you want to develop these people, and I'm sure the potential is great here because you have such a fantastic science and mathematics base, then you have to do philanthropy, which is where I'm working. What does philanthropy mean? It means philia and anthropos, ancient Greek love of people. You need to seek out the most highly creative people in Estonia. They won't be at internet conferences. They'll be in their lab working on a big idea. They have a very different personality from the typical internet entrepreneur. But you have to learn to love these people and start a foundation, that's my advice for you, for deep innovation and develop these people. Because you can only develop these ideas if you develop the people who have them. That's the third anecdote from my experience in Berlin. The potential here is great, the spirit is great, and the field is wide open. I want to encourage you to experiment. Good luck.
Thank you.